Okay, hi Leos, and welcome to your June 2022 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about the month ahead. Welcome back, Leos. I hope you're doing really well. I'm coming on to give you a great late night reading, hopefully. Yes, some intuitive messages for you, followed by a week-to-week tarot forecast with an extended on Patreon. Let's dive into that now. Intuitively, there's a lot for you to manage in June. There's a lot of different spheres or compartments I feel that you're having to operate in and you're having to be present for. And there could be a bit of polarity there. So like one person is like, yeah, let's go here. Let's do this business. Let's do this new thing. And then you have this other person that's like close to you who's like, no, you don't have enough time for that. You need to like do this. You need to just stick to what you're doing. And you kind of have like the feeling of juxtaposed counsel during this time. And who's right? Basically, your inner knowing right when you hear an opportunity is right. Okay, so when somebody presents something to you and you have a very immediate reaction, try to follow through on that. Try to follow through on progressing your greater cause rather than succumbing to any type of super immediate concern relating to value or very slow progress that may not be as meaningful. Because I feel like you have a supercharged quest for meaning coming up in June, Leo. Okay, so like just working the shift, just doing the tried and true repetitive stuff may not suffice now. Okay, I'm seeing some of you trying to undertake like a heritage project, like a legacy project. There's between you and Virgo, actually, these two signs of the zodiac are very much concerned with creating the real, meaningful, material stuff and not just doing anything for the sake of doing it. So there might be quite a bit of, unimportant things that you need to move away from in the month of June. You have the Tower coming up. You have the Devil card coming up. You have the Eight of Pentacles reversed coming up. There is like the feeling of work in vain being solved here. So we have a more receptive Leo coming through. We have a more time-focused, time-sensitive Leo, okay? It's not at all anymore for your sign about mindless production, blind consumption, spending thoughtlessly. Okay, you have to really know where stuff is going because you might, I'm not saying that you guys are going to have to like live on less or that you're going to have a reduction, but you might want to, honestly. I mean, you might want to not have to work so much. You might want to not be so contracted and committed because I kind of feel like your bloodline or your lineage or your ancestry is like calling on you to do something that really transcends a generational barrier. And it's going to take a lot of energy, focus, and resolve to do that. So you want to make sure that you're not doing anything in vain here. Okay, so not wasting time, not giving all your time, money, and energy to people who just like take from you or to people who it doesn't make sense for. Also, really pay attention to things that consist of like working way more with the illusion that you're like making more money, but in reality you just end up like paying way more tax or something and it almost like cancels itself out. There are a lot of situations for everybody right now that equal like cancellations. Okay, so you work harder and it somehow cancels itself out, or you like make a huge investment and it somehow like cancels itself out. Careful there. You try to even help someone or guide someone through a problem or coach someone through something, and somehow it doesn't stick at all. So there is like wasted time, and we have to really think about time wasted and time disappeared during the month of June, because I think that you might have some things really taken away, or you might have some things really deplete here, and it's positive. Okay, it's a positive reduction in order for every single sign, but especially for Leo, because if you guys remember, I believe it was in the 2022 year ahead forecast, might have been in the new nodal paradigm video, I can't remember which, I was talking for Leos about how you guys have a big decision coming up in July. So it's really important to get calm, centered, and resolved in regards to the important stuff so that you're not like, losing your time right? And you're not just finding yourself like in a tired or, I don't know, submissive place when it comes time to make these big decisions or these important calls. So everything kind of works. I've got to say, like, everything that you're involved in at like a root level works. Okay. So even if you feel like you're having to take on too much or you're having to do too much, all of these constructs are good, but you want to make sure that you're not like nervously getting stuck in them, or like, you know, if you imagine like typing up your budget and like doing it over and over and over again, like you already know what the budget needs to be, you already know what it is, but it's like there's a nervous type of like tick or something here where it's like we do it over and over again because we have like just something to work out energetically. I've talked about this societal feeling of like glitching out in the fetal position, where we kind of like repeat certain tasks or kind of almost like robotically go through motions repetitively instead of doing what we need to do. So keep an eye on that and try to let that release here. And also, you know, releasing the fear or the overthinking before we do something. You know, sometimes when we dread something, the overthinking of doing it beforehand leads it to be a lot harder than it ever had to be. So maybe thinking about ways to think less and just get into action and make progress forward is a good thing here as well. I will say with the devil, look coming up and my attention being quite drawn to that, you know, any type of ball and chain, anything that you have to be too dependent upon to like get through, it's good to decentralize or to diversify your experience more so that you aren't super reliant on any one person or any one thing now. So it is really hard in June of 2022 to be totally dependent on just one income, on just one person, on just one experience, you know, living paycheck to paycheck. It's very hard not to, but as I've said before, there are ways to really offset this, and I think that it will be good for Leos to think of that now. Otherwise, intuitively, your confidence will be returning, and you will also have greater luck in the month of June developing relationships and developing alliances. So it's a really wonderful time to form business partnerships. It's a really wonderful time if you're a business owner to find new sources of revenue, to innovate new relationships and new connecting points, even if they're not super profitable right now, even if it's not like, you know, really thriving yet. It's good to start setting new infrastructures, okay, to diversify. It's also good, you know, business aside. I mean, we have North Node in Taurus, right, and Uranus in Taurus, and a big Taurus stellium happening as I'm filming this, actually. You know, so it's hard not to get economic here, but, you know, try to find also new relationship connecting points. So it is really good to connect with people in different places, different regions, different backgrounds, because you never know when you're going to have something in common with someone. And I see certain Leos kind of preventing themselves from being able to access these new, fresh connecting points, and it's so vital to have something fresh and light here. Also, it's supported to get more confident in your appearance now, so reinventing your style, 6 of Wands, 10 of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, 2 of Wands, reinventing yourself, reinventing your personal projection is really supported. Anything that helps your confidence. And if anything does kind of present as stressful this month, try to let it be a calm reduction or proof that you are trimming up your energy and having more of an essential outlook. So let's talk about your week-to-week Leos. Week number 1, 2 of Wands, rooted down by the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, you're holding something. You're looking at something. You're holding like a new idea. You're sitting on a new idea. You're sitting on a new concept. You're sitting on a new, vastly new way. Okay, but it's like you're not implementing it yet, or you're not totally living it. So this is very much like someone who is working in the old world, working in the old job, working and going through the motions, and totally knows exactly how they step forward, but they're not like really stepping into that yet. So I'm seeing this for a lot of people right now, where it's like we know exactly how we want to move forward, but we're not really initializing this journey yet. This could even be stretching back to like 2020. And now is a great time, okay, to ask ourselves, when does the journey start? We have Jupiter and Mars in Aries. We can't afford not to start some of this stuff, okay? If you're being called to some type of career, some type of job, some type of new location, some type of new adventure, I recommend starting to get your affairs in order to make it possible, because it is a supported time, one of the most supported times I've ever seen during my 7 year and counting astrology career. Okay. Since I've started, this is one of the most supported times for new beginnings. Okay. Jupiter Mars conjunct in Aries, new moon in Gemini happening at the end of May and propelling us into the month of June, a full moon in Sagittarius. It is so wonderful to think, how do I evolve? How do I take this up a rank? How do I take up my current living, my current lifestyle? How do I increase it? And what's really cool, Leo, is to see that actually you can have more for less. Okay. So I'm seeing for the really savvy people right now, you can actually evolve your lifestyle and save more money. Okay. You can actually take your career to the next level and work less. Okay. You can actually, just through your support or your recommendations, just through almost your references or the people who stand behind you, you can almost let that work for you. It's such a wonderful time to start a new journey of passive reception, building, things like passive income, stuff like that. Try to not get too freaked out about that stuff or, go crazy with it. But we really do need more receptiveness here, because I feel that people are over committal or producing too much or pushing too hard with their energy. And eventually there's going to have to be that equal and opposite reaction that shows them receiving. Okay. Give and take. If you've been giving too much, let this be a sign to you right now that it is time for you to receive. Okay. And it's not going to be time for you to just needlessly give and give, especially to people who aren't giving back to you. So let this be a sign for you right here and right now. Okay. Week number 2, Judgment, rooted down by the Tower. And that's where stuff gets big. Okay. Second week of June. Keep an eye out for it. If you need to reduce anything, if you need to cut anything back, if you need to also come to terms with something, like waking up and smelling the coffee, getting real with yourself, not BSing yourself anymore. The Judgment and the Tower card together is very, very, you can't overlook this. You can't just pretend this stuff is okay, or you can't just glaze over or package this and make this work. There's something in Leo's lives that really has to be seen. And I think that it's only hard if you're preventing this new journey, or if you're preventing this desperate call from the universe. Is not desperate, but there is a very obvious call from the universe here to step onto a new path. And if we're rejecting that and saying, no, what I currently have is fine, and I'm just going to package that up and make that a little bit different, that can be harsh, and you might have certain difficulties there. But reinvention is always good, or reinventing, re-expressing, or even finding ways that you can take with you, what you have now and have a bit of a hybrid experience. I don't see any problems with that. But the second week of June is going to, I don't know, it's going to be a call to action with the Judgment card. And it's likely going to call you into a sort of reductive action. What do I mean by that? You're going to be called to reduce something, or called to make something more adaptable, or to make something more compact with the Tower, or to even quit. Okay. For some people, it's going to be handing in that resignation. For some people, it's going to be a feeling called to just move elsewhere. Okay. And I'm not saying that you need to quit or resign or do anything like that, especially if you like what you do. But you could also experience that. If you're a business owner, you could see people being I can't do this anymore. Or you could just see natural reductions in revenue, or anything that's, been going all over the place. It could go downwards, stock market, revenues, anything that's volatile could see a downward trend there. Week 3, Eight of Pentacles reversed, rooted down by the Six of Wands. Yeah, time to receive. Okay, Eight of Pentacles is like the vibe of overproducing, overcreating, overdoing, and not enjoying that process anymore. So we need to see if that's what's happening, and we need to make the appropriate calls now. It's not going to probably stretch out to 2023. It's not going to be something that we just eventually focus on. Here is the time, week 2, week 3 of June, to reclaim our own appropriate energetic contribution regimen. Okay. So it's good to redo schedules in the third week. It's good to redo boundaries as well. Week 4, the Devil, rooted down by 10 of Cups. There's a really valuable lesson in the 4th week of June for everybody that is kind of illustrating how commitment or contract or bond, union, anything like that can be a blessing or a curse. Okay, it depends on how we focus it. It depends on how we are in our own health day to day, because a marriage or a contract can be one of the most empowering things, aka 10 of Cups, or it can be a major ball and chain, like the Devil. Those cards are very similar, actually. And how we know the difference is how healthy we are day by day. How we feel about our commitments across the board day by day. Because if one goes out of alignment, it's kind of like the vertebrae in the spine. If one is out, everything starts to suffer. So we can't just allow for like one thing to be out and, hope that everything else is okay. We do have to kind of take action and, I don't know, hire a chiropractor or, start to understand that the ball is in our court. Okay, when it comes to contracts, commitments, obligations, we need to make sure that we are taking our best interest into account when we set those up. Okay, so what I'm really believing in general, okay, before I move into your extended reading, Leo, this general time to me really looks like a time of trust where we step onto a new path and we allow reception from the previous hard work to hold us up, okay, as we really step into a completely different and new type of experience here, okay? And I want to really make that the point of this reading this month for you, Leo, is like a new experience is here, a new path is forming, and I think you need to step onto it. I wouldn't deprive myself of it any longer, okay? Especially if you've been feeling it since like 2020, if it's not a totally brand new feeling, and you've been like, yeah, I'm just going to save up a little bit more and make sure that I'm safe and secure enough to step onto that new path. I would say prepare to step onto it now and to start to make arrangements. It's not hot or cold. It's not complete like 0 or 100%. We can always, if you have something that really consumes a lot of your time, cut it back a little bit. If it consumes 70% of your time, move it back to 40% of your time and start to invest that remaining 30% into this new path. You can have a hybrid experience. I mean, I kind of recommend a full force move into the new beginning here, but I understand even I wouldn't take that advice because I'm too much of a security-oriented person. But it is important to see a reduction in one area of life and a reinvestment of that new surplus into the new, okay, into the new beginning, into the fresh light stuff. Because we don't live forever, okay? And if you've been knowing that this new path is coming for like years at this point, we don't live forever. And sometimes we do have to understand that, okay, I've got to risk something or I've got to trust that the universe is going to come through for me. And this is kind of one of the purposes of living, right? On the other hand, if it's just now coming to you, like you're listening to this reading, you're like, oh yeah, I do want a new beginning, and you haven't really been thinking about it all, you have more room, I think, to brainstorm about it and make it work logistically over the next coming months. But especially for my Leos out there who've been, feeling it for a while, now is the time, I believe, to start to figure this stuff out. But let's talk more about it in your extended reading on Patreon, Leos. Yes, I will be pulling a central theme into supporting themes for you. We'll get more cards. We'll focus on, what it's like to step from this old path onto the new path and what we should expect and what we should get in order, and just see some general dialogue around that. So I do bonus weekly forecasts every week on Patreon. I do these readings early, ad-free, and extended over there. It's a really great value, and it's very reasonably priced. So if you would like to help this channel continue to be possible and to get some premium content as well, I will link that in the center of your screen now and at the top link in the description box. Have a wonderful month, Leos. Hit that subscribe button below and thumbs up the video. That's a great free way to support if you would like to. Let's do this extended. Much love. Bye.